Hi guys. So this is a video that I decided to make to give everybody kind of a outline of what in person is going to look like. Any questions that I thought you may have had, I think I'm covering in here. But before I do get started, I want to just give you a disclaimer. Some of the information in here is specific to JCPS, so it means it was decided by the school board. Some information is specific to Rutherford Elementary, and some of it's specific to just my classroom personally. Every classroom and every building in this city in JCPS is different. So if there's anything that you see that you're like, that just doesn't seem right, please reach out to me and let me know. If you see something that you're like, yeah, I think she needs to fix that, please let me know. I'm open to discussion because it's not just me in this classroom, it's going to be your kiddos too. And they're yours, and you have every right to be concerned about things that are going on in the building when it's your kiddo's safety that could be in jeopardy. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I just wanted to make sure that you understood that some of the things in here are specific to certain departments, and not just Miss Acton's class, and not just JCPS, and not just Rutherford. And I'll explain that more as we keep going. So what am I going to cover in this presentation? When school's open, what's the hybrid schedule look like? Where does your kid fit in that hybrid schedule? When will your kids be at home learning? And when will your kids be doing class learning, virtual learning, all those things? Some safety procedures that are in place, and some things that I thought would be fun, and I figured that families would appreciate doing with your kiddos to practice certain safety procedures. All right, so here is a schedule that I found. So this little snippet is actually from JCPS. So these are actually when all of the schools are going to open. So if you have a middle or high schooler, then you know they're going to be opening on April 5th. If you have a fourth grade, third grade, fifth grade kiddo at Rutherford or any other building, they actually will not be going back to school until that Thursday. But that's only if they have a certain last name. So that's another thing that we got to think about. So the reason why I showed this calendar is because March 17th is officially our classroom's first day back because we are second grade. And this is for the entire second grade in the district. So every second grade class is going back on that Wednesday. The only kicker is that the Wednesday is actually a virtual day. So we're going back to school. It's our official first day, but it's a virtual day, which is so weird. And I'll get into that a little bit more. I do want to give you some information about the 15th and 16th, which are the Monday and Tuesday before that. So those are going to be considered asynchronous days, which is just a fancy way of saying they will be doing work on their own without me there. So it'll look a lot like when Miss Acton has to take a sick day, how you guys have reading, writing, and math to do every single day, but you won't have meetings with Miss Acton, you won't have your reading and math groups, and you won't have the Google Meets meeting with all of us in the beginning of the day. So you'll just have work to do on your own. And that's because the 15th is actually our setup day, so we can go in and make sure that all the last minute details are done, that the desks are 6 feet apart, all the surfaces that are in our room are easy to clean. We have all of our, cleaning products ready to go for us. So just cleaning up those last minute details before kiddos come in the building, so we're safe. And the 16th is actually just a whole day of staff meetings where we're going to meet and go over safety procedures, make sure that we have everything in line. That way we can keep the kiddos safe when they actually do come into the building on the 18th, which is the first day that kids will actually be at Rutherford in the building. All right, so here is the hybrid schedule breakdown. So the first thing that we go into are two different categories where either you decided that your kiddo was in person or virtual. If you do not remember what you chose, or you do remember what you chose and you want to switch it, please contact me as soon as possible so I can get that figured out for you. So you either chose in person or virtual. If you're a virtual kiddo, I don't really have a lot of detail for you just yet, other than I know you will be home. You will be doing classwork in the Google Classroom, just like we always do. From what I understand, there's going to be a teacher in the building. So a Rutherford teacher will actually be assigned to be the virtual teacher, and they will be in charge of you. I don't know if they'll be able to have meetings with you every single day like Miss Acton, but I do know that they will be in charge of putting the classwork into the classroom for you. If you're an in-person kiddo, you're immediately broken into two different groups. And that's so that we chop down on the number of kids that are in the rooms with us at one time. So group A are kiddos that have the last name. So it's the kids' last names, A through K. So if your last name starts with an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you come with group A. And if your last name starts with L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z, you come with group B. I'm going to show you why that's important. So basically, Group A, the 8th through K, last name kiddos, they come on Monday and Tuesday in person. So that's when they'll actually be in the building with Miss Acton doing all the in-person stuff. It'll look different than we're used to, but you will still be in the building with Miss Acton. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you are virtual. Then the Group B kiddos do the opposite other than Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they're virtual. Everybody's virtual on Wednesday. Then Thursday and Friday, they come in person. So that's my friends that have last names L through Z. And then we have my virtual kiddos. So as far as I know, you guys are just going to be working in Google Classroom, kind of like you do now. I will not be in charge of these virtual kiddos. That doesn't mean I won't contact you guys to make sure everything's going okay. That doesn't mean that I won't be doing their grades and report cards, and that will mean that if you have a concern that you won't contact me. But I just won't be in charge of doing their work. A virtual teacher will be in charge of these kiddos and their meetings. Whenever I find out more detail who that virtual person is, I will be sure to pass that to you. So this is actually from JCPS's website, a little snippet. So I'm going to give you two different schedules. One just kind of flipped the other way. So if I was you, if this looks clean to you, you think that this will help keep you organized and when your kiddos are going to come to the building, I would take a screenshot of it right now. I'm not going to sit and dilly on it because I want us to move on. I don't want to take all your time with a really long video. So basically this is the A through K groups. This is Group A. This is Group B. And then there's also a special education group. If a kiddo is in special education, has an IEP, they actually come Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and everybody is remote learning on Wednesday. And this is another breakdown, so I kind of just flipped it over. So on Monday, if your kiddo's last name starts with A through K, you're in school. And on Tuesday, those kiddos are in school. If your kiddo's last name starts with L through Z, on Monday and Tuesday, they are at home. And then Wednesday, everybody's asynchronous. Everybody's at home. Nobody's in the building. I don't even know if they're going to let teachers in the building or not. And the reason why that is because the Group A kiddos have been in the school for 2 days. They've had their germs fill up the building. That gives Wednesday all day long with no kiddos there. That gives the janitorial staff and other people that are in charge of cleaning a chance to disinfect and get it ready for the Group B kiddos. That way your kids are not exposed to 2 different kid sets of germs. And what's cool about this, as of right now, my Monday and Tuesday Group A, there's 8 kiddos, and my Group B, there are 9 kiddos. So that means if you're a Group A kid, you're only going to be bringing home 7 other kiddos' germs and Miss Acton's germs home with you. Whereas if we did 5 days a week, you would be exposed to 16 kids every single day. That just cuts down on the amount of germs that you're going to have. So that's the reason why the school board voted on this. And this is not just Rutherford. This is every school in JCPS. This was a school board decision that was made. So it was just something that we had no decision in this. The school board voted on this. And then Thursday and Friday it flip flops. So it's kind of nice that and hopefully it makes you feel better that your kid is only going to be exposed to 7 other kiddos' germs and Miss Acton's germs versus 23 other kiddos' germs if all of us were expected to go back to in person. So I hope that you appreciate that, and I hope that that makes you feel more at ease with your kiddos. Then over here on the side is just the virtual kiddos group. Every single day, Google Classwork from home in your Google Classroom. All right, so safety procedures. I call these my non-negotiables. I got to move myself. I call these my non-negotiables because nobody's going to convince me to change these. These are just, and these are Rutherford's rules, JCPS's rules, and my rules for my classroom. I want to keep myself just as much as you want to keep your child safe. So that's why these rules are very important to me. And I expect all children to follow them. Okay. So face masks are required to be worn all day, except for when kids are eating or drinking, because that's impossible. If they're in the room, I don't care if the closest kiddo is only 20 feet away from them. I do not care. There will be a mask on their face. You guys are their families. They're with you at home. You know how fast these kiddos move. Kiddo takes his face mask off. All of a sudden, the speediest kid in the classroom runs over to them and asks them if they can borrow something, even though they're not supposed to. They don't have their mask on. Boom, they're exposed. That's just a risk I'm not willing to take. That's a risk that I don't want to bring home germs to my kiddo at home. I know that you don't want your kiddos bringing home germs to your families at home as well. So face mask will be worn at all times unless we are eating or drinking. And there are certain safety protocols that are in place when the kiddos are eating or drinking, such as they're not going to be facing each other. That way droplets from their mouth aren't going to be shooting them right at the other face. They'll be facing all the same way, so the germs will be going the same way. So if they did happen to reach another kiddo, it would go to the back of their head. This is all so weird to talk about, but there's definitely safety protocols that are in place for when we are eating that makes it less risky, and the kiddos have to eat while they're in the building. So that's our exception with them, taking their mask off. Students will stay 6 feet apart from each other. any person in the building at all times. This one's a little bit harder because it is hard for second graders to sit still, and it's hard for them to understand the distance of 6 feet. It is hard for Miss Acton to understand the distance of 6 feet. I am 5'2". I have no idea what 6 feet really looks like, what it feels like, especially when it's on the ground. My husband's 6 feet tall, so I know what 6 feet looks like from above my head. I have no idea what 6 feet looks like on the ground, and that's what our kiddos need to learn. But it's something that we'll definitely practice. But they are expected to stay 6 feet away from anybody at all times. Unless it's their family members, if they're like riding the bus and stuff like that, or waiting to get picked up, or walking outside for a walker, then it is perfectly fine for them to be less than 6 feet apart because they're from the same household. Any other children, though, 6 feet is what is expected, and it's expected of me too. Students will wash their hands anytime they go to the restroom and properly. And we'll talk about how you can show your kiddo how to wash their hands properly. Students will wash their hands before they eat. That way, any germs that they've picked up, they're not picked up when they're sitting there eating their grapes, their chips, whatever they're eating. And their students will wash their hands after. That way, while they were sitting there eating their chips and their grapes and they got all those water droplets on their hands, we wash those off before we bring them back into our classroom, touch the doorknobs that all the other kiddos touch. It's just what the CDC recommends, and it's what Miss Acton is expecting in her classroom. So here are some fun things that I want to get you guys to do to be prepared. I'm going to try to go through these really quick because I do not want to take up 100 million minutes of your time. So, getting your kiddos to practice wearing masks for an extended period of time. You have got to start practicing this now. If you do not have a mask, please reach out to me. That way I can get you one so you can start practicing. Start small. Have your kiddos wear a mask for 10 minutes when they get up in the morning. Then, next day, try 20 minutes. That morning, try 10 minutes. That afternoon, try 20 minutes. Put a timer on. Make it visual. If they've got a Chromebook, try to find a timer in the Chromebook somewhere so that they have something visual they can look at. Use your phone. Make it a challenge. Tell them, I don't think that you can make it to 20 minutes today. They will love, 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 love proving you wrong. So make it something that's a competition. If you have more than one kid in your household, whether or not they're coming back to Rutherford or not, you can have it be a competition. Maybe the kiddo that wears the mask the longest gets an extra treat. Maybe they get to choose what cartoon that everybody has to watch before it's bedtime. And then also, if they see you wearing a mask, they're going to take it a lot more seriously. You guys are important to them. They've had to be in a at home with you guys for a really long time now, for over a year. So you all that are taking care of these kiddos at home, they respect your all's decision. So if they see you wearing a mask, they're going to know that it's important because you're taking it seriously. And they're going to take it seriously, and it's going to make my job a lot easier, and it's going to keep us all safer. So if you can get them to wear a mask at any point during the day, do it, and do it for as long as you possibly can. Washing your hands. These steps right here, actually from the CDC, I copied and pasted them. It's kind of like a kid-friendly version. So get water on your hands, then add the soap. Rub, rub, rub for 30 seconds. They can sing the ABC song once, or they can sing Happy Birthday twice. Make sure they're not singing it super duper fast. Make sure it's at a reasonable pace. Make sure that they're cleaning in between their fingers and the tops of their hands, and even go a little bit further up the wrists too. Now watch them that they don't go like all the way up to their elbows. That's a little excessive. And then make sure they rinse all of the soap off. That's really, really important. And then dry their hands. Now most of our bathrooms have paper towels. The one that our kiddos are going to be using the majority of the time has paper towels in them. So that'll be nice to have a paper towel at home, or a washcloth. I don't expect you guys to use paper towels at home. I'm in a washcloth to help them practice that. And go in there and watch them do it. Make sure that they're doing it right. It'll make everybody safer. 6 feet. This is probably the hardest one. It's going to be the hardest one for me too. Keeping kids 6 feet away. First off, kids don't know what 6 feet are, so that's the first thing you need to practice with the kids. So if you have a tape measure, that's perfect. Roll it out to 6 feet. Let them walk around with it for a little bit. Let them measure things in the house. See if they can find objects that are 6 feet tall. See if they can try to stay away from you for 6 feet. That'll be a fun game to play. If you do not have a tape measure, there are two things that Miss Acton kind of did some research on. Most refrigerators are 6 feet tall, if not, higher. So if your refrigerator is 7 feet long and your kid practices how to stay 7 feet away from other kiddos, that's perfectly fine with Miss Acton. I would rather them stay 10 feet apart than be 2 feet away from the person that they're supposed to be, 6 feet apart from. So measure your refrigerator and use that. If you have a piece of yarn or string at home, take it to the top of the refrigerator down to the bottom and snip it, and give that kid that string and tell them to go around and see what things are as long as the string and see how many things that they can find. Another thing is the Chromebook, which most of you guys have at home. The monitor in the Chromebook, where the screen is about 13 inches, which is almost a foot. And I actually have a picture of it right here. So it's actually around 13 inches. I think I said 13 feet. It's around 13 inches, which is a little bit over a foot. So if you take a piece of string, shoestring, rope, anything that you have, and you measure it 6 times across, you'll have, a 6 foot long string. Give that string to the kiddo, and then that's theirs to go around and practice what 6 feet looks like. So once you have your 6 feet, your measurement, whatever you're using, whether it's, a yardstick, a ruler, the tape, or the measuring tape, or the string, then you have some games that you can play. So one thing is just going around and measuring stuff in the house, like I talked about. See if they can find things that are 6 feet. Let's say that they can't find anything, but they find something that's 3 feet. Ask them how many of those would you need to be in between you and another person to be 6 feet. They should say two. Put a 3 foot table to 3 foot table. That gives me 6 feet distance. So you can make it kind of like a math assignment for them to do, something challenging, get their brain working. Another fun game that I thought would be cool to play is like a 6 foot game, to where you and your kiddo have to stay 6 feet apart. So let's say you're like the it person, then you jump at them, like jump 2 feet in front of them. They have to jump 2 feet back and make sure you stay 6 feet. Then measure the string, make sure that they got that 6 feet back. Because second graders are fast little kids and they're small, they're like little ninjas. All of a sudden you have a kid that was 6 feet away from you, all of a sudden he's right next to you. You have to be able to move fast to get the 6 feet distance that you need. If you can get more people to play and they have to practice staying 6 feet away from like three other people, oh my gosh, they will have so much fun with that, and you will too. So practice doing that. Let them be the person too, where they get to jump at you or they get to run around you, and you have to stay 6 feet away from them. They will love that. Another thing is whenever you go on a walk or you go to a store, preferably things that aren't that crowded. You can have them measure things. Don't do it at the crowded grocery store. You don't want your kiddo running up behind a stranger to, measure the width of the aisle. While a lady's trying to get all of her groceries. But if you're in a park and it's not too busy, let them measure some of the trees that they pass, some of the parts of the sidewalk, a street sign. Let them measure certain things like that, and really get an idea of what that 6 feet looks like, because that's probably going to be the most difficult thing for our kiddos. All right, so that's all Miss Acton has for you. If you still have any more questions that I didn't cover, I may or may not have the answer for you just yet. There's still a lot of questions that Miss Acton still hasn't gotten answered, and that's just because the school board on Thursday voted on this, and nobody really knew we were going to go to this hybrid model. So there's still a lot of things that Miss Acton doesn't know about what's going to happen. But once I find those things out, I'll be sure to keep you guys posted. If you have any questions that or concerns that you really, really want to know, please text or call me. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. My number is right there, 812-725-5578. You can also email me. I have my personal email address and my JCPS email address. You can email me. It just takes me a little bit longer to get to that. If you are a friend, if you are a family that you either don't remember if you chose in person or virtual and you would like to know, please give me a text or a call so I can get that going to you. If you remember what you chose and you want to switch it to something new after getting all this new information, please call me or text me so I can get that changed as well. So that's all Miss Acton has for you. Thank you guys for taking this awesome time. Play some of those games with your kiddos. Oh, and also if you don't have any masks, please let me know so I can get some masks to you so that your kiddos can practice wearing those for extended period of time. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for enjoying this. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Tell your kiddos I said hi. Bye.